My wife had an abortion at her best friend's suggestion. I'm divorcing her. I hate my wife's BFF, and I'm thinking of divorcing her over this. Me 26M. Wife Katie 26F. Wife BFF Lisa 26F. Some backstory. I met my wife when we were in high school and we had the same friend group. After a few months of knowing Katie, I fell in love with her. I ended up confessing my love for her. Since then we went on many dates. We dated for about 6 years and then I proposed to her. We both were extremely happy with each other. We told our family and friends. Lisa, my wife, has known since they were 7 years old. Wasn't so happy or congratulated us. At that time, I didn't think of why she wasn't happy that her BFF got engaged. My wife asked Lisa to be her maid of honor. After 4 years of our marriage, I noticed that my wife, for some odd reason, changed her mind about a lot of stuff. For some reason, Lisa started to visit my wife 3 to 4 days per week. But after every time Lisa visited us, me and my wife would have a disagreement over small things like her wanting to become a housewife, and that I have a problem with it. I don't have an issue with it whatsoever. After 2 months, my wife moved back in with her parents for some space. After she came back out of nowhere, she stopped trusting me with simple tasks. After Katie became pregnant since May of this year, I noticed that when Lisa came to our house, my wife started to change. A month ago, I came home early and I couldn't help myself but overhear their conversations without their knowledge. And I heard Lisa talking bad about me and telling my wife that she should abort the baby so the baby's sign wouldn't be Aquarius. My wife is a Cancer sign. My heart broke when I heard my wife saying that she will consider doing that. But since I trust my wife, I said nothing. But after a month, she talked to me about aborting the baby, and I disagreed with her and she said nothing. Yesterday, I noticed that my wife lost a lot of weight. She broke down sobbing, telling me that she aborted the baby a week ago without telling me. I was livid at what she said, so I shouted at her and told her she shouldn't listen to all of Lisa's BS. And she started defending Lisa, saying that I shouldn't talk about her BFF like that. I ended up yelling at her more, saying that Lisa did nothing but brainwash her. I ended up packing all of my stuff and asking my older brother if I could stay with him for a few weeks. I told him everything, and now I'm thinking of divorcing my wife over this.
I just realized what he does every morning. My partner has to wake up around 4 a.m. in the morning for work. He has 2 alarms. One is at 4:30, the other is 4:35. I questioned why he had them so close together, and he said, "Hey, it just helps me." This morning I pieced together what he's been doing every morning since he started this job 2 months ago. The first alarm is solely his warning signal, and he uses it to get 5 minutes of hugging me every morning. Every morning. This poor guy is tired AF every day, but he makes sure that every morning before work he cuddles me for at least 5 minutes. Some days I don't get woken up by him, and it's sweet to think that no matter what, he makes the time to be affectionate to me before he leaves. I adore him. End of the story. What are your thoughts? Leave a comment. Thanks for watching.
Am I the a-hole for losing my passport? To avoid babysitting on my vacation, I, 17F, still live at home. My sister, 28, is married and has 2 kids, 5 and 3. Whenever she comes over to visit my parents, she stick me with the kids. This wouldn't be a problem except she doesn't visit for an evening. She will come for a week. And for that week, I'm an unpaid nanny. If we go out to a restaurant, I have to entertain them because my mom needs to talk to my sister and brother-in-law. You get the picture. My parents decided that since this was my last summer, before I became an adult, we would be going to Disneyland to celebrate my graduation. I asked who was going and they said it was just the 3 of us. But when we got to the airport, my sister and her family were there. Strangely enough, they were also going to Disneyland. I went into my backpack and grabbed my passport. I put it in my sock. When we got to the international security, I couldn't find it. We looked everywhere. I had to Uber home and I missed my flight. Oh well. I get to stay home by myself for a week of peace and quiet. My parents were very mad at me for losing my passport. The money they spent on my flight and entrance was wasted. Darn. My mom and sister have both been posting about how hard it is to be at Disneyland with 2 little ones. They both posted that I ruined the vacation by being so thoughtless. My dad says he knows why I did and he understands. But he says I should have let him know so he didn't waste money. He said he would have gone along with my ruse. I feel bad about wasting money, but I have been to Disneyland before. And I will go again later by myself or with friends.
I've been married for a year to my wife and I still have my V card. What do I do here? I'm not sure if this is the right place for this or not, so I apologize if it isn't. My 22M wife 26F, and I got married in February of last year 2021. We had a small ceremony due to COVID restrictions and our honeymoon was cancelled. Due to the same issues, we'd been dating for 4 years prior to getting married, and in that time, we haven't had clappings or anything close to it. We've kissed and cuddled and things like that. All good and I like doing that, but we've never done anything more. She told me that she was waiting for marriage, which is fine, and I was happy with that as I have always thought that we'd get married. Fast forward to the wedding day, and I'm about to explode from excitement. Firstly, I'm marrying the woman of my dreams. Secondly, we finally get to have clapping time. The wedding itself was really nice. Pretty basic in a small chapel, close family only. Then back to her parents' house for a meal. We then went back to my wife's house and I was ready for it, but she said she was too tired after a long day. No problem. What's one more day? I wake up the next morning and she's gone out already. No idea what time she left. And just a note on the fridge. That was almost a year ago. Every time I've tried to broach the subject, she's either too tired, upset, not in the mood, or some variation of it. She's called me obsessed with clapping as I was asking most days at one point. But how can I be obsessed if I've never had it? I've taken her on romantic date nights and as soon as clapping is mentioned she is put off because it should be spontaneous. So I tried spontaneously engaging, but she accused me of attempting to assay her if she didn't give consent prior. I'm so confused. I've grown closer with one of her friends over the last few years. I'm also good friends with her younger brother, and I was out for a coffee with her during the week and she asked how the bedroom life was going, something she talks about with reference to herself. But I often deflect when she asks about my experiences. When I confessed that we had never done anything, she was really shocked. I thought who wouldn't be shocked about a married couple where they're both still have E-cards, but no. She was shocked because her friend, my wife, was incredibly promiscuous before she met me and has done all sorts of things with all kinds of different people. She estimates at least 14 lovers that she knows about. This has left me even more confused. Am I just undesirable? Why did she marry me if I'm not attractive? I waited for years to get married and have clapping with the woman that I love, and now I'm still waiting. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Edit. I had a birthday in late January. I'm actually 22. Edit 2. A lot of people seem to be going straight to the divorce. However, I still love my wife, and we've been together for around 5 years, for dating, 1 married. So I'm looking for advice to fix this, not to run away from her. I appreciate the concern, but I'm here for advice on the relationship, not a way to get out of it. I still want to thank you for taking the time to read and comment. Update. I've been married to my wife for a year and I still have my V card. Firstly, I want to thank everyone that reached out, either on the post or by message. I've read every single post, comment, and message. That was exhausting, by the way, and I appreciate everyone that was thoughtful and wasn't rude. I know that a lot of you want an update, so I'll do my best to convey everything that has taken place in the last 24 hours. I'm sitting at my desk right now and I can't focus on my work at all. The update. Where the hell do I start? I sat down with my wife on Sunday. She spent the day at her parents' house on Saturday, which I realize now that I'm writing this has the ramifications of that. At first, she was totally unreceptive. I asked that she just listen and to let me talk, then to take a few moments to consider her response. She agreed. I talked to her calmly as I was able to. I told her that I was concerned, that I wanted to love my wife in every way possible, that I married her because I loved all of her, and that I wanted to know what was going on with her. I told her that I knew she had been clappingly active in the past, and I wanted to know why they were able to be with her wholly but I wasn't. This is incredibly simplified, as I talked for almost an hour, and she listened without interrupting. As I talked, she started crying. She didn't sob or break down. She was quiet and tears rolled down her cheeks, and that, honestly, made something inside me break and I began crying too. I don't cry. I haven't cried since I scuffed my knee when I was 7. Exaggeration, but you get the idea. After I finished talking, we sat and looked at each other for some time. I could see she was thinking. She just silently shook her head. At that point, things nearly fell apart. As I asked if she wanted me to contact a solicitor on Monday to begin divorce proceedings, she fully broke down then. She cried so hard, sobbing, that she ended up as a ball on the floor. This shocked me. I've never seen her like that. I don't remember doing it. I ended up on the floor cuddling her whilst she cried. And then the dam broke, she started talking, and I really don't know what to say other than repeat what she said to me. I've got her permission to type this out, but I have to keep it vague for reasons that will become obvious. So her dad, from here on I'll call him Dave, isn't her real dad. Dave came into her life when she was 7. Her bio dad exited when she was just 5. I never knew this. I just knew him as her dad. Dave was the perfect dad for years, by her memory. He took her out for ice cream, looked after her when she was sick, spent money on her, bought her nice things, etc. You know, dad stuff. When she was 13 or 14, he began to touch her. His excuse, apparently, was that she was a developing young woman and she was a temptation for all men. So who better than someone that loves her? As you can guess, this developed to him coming to her bed late at night when she was in her later teen years. 16, 17 she thinks. He would take her out and allow his friends to have fun with her. One of these friends went around bragging about it, and word got out and my wife got tarnished with a few nasty monikers that I'll let you imagine. Her friend, the one I had coffee with, heard about it, and other conquests through the grapevine. She knew my wife at the time, but they weren't really friends until college, where she tried to ask my wife about it. But my wife shrugged it off. I asked how the friend knew, as it confused me somewhat. When she was about to head off to university, Dave bought a house around the corner from his for her to live in. This is the house we have been living in for the past few years. He would make regular visits to her here, and keep financial control over her bank account, and the fact that he owned the house. Dave wasn't happy when my wife met me, and insisted that she not sleep with me. Me being a V-card holder made that sell easier, I guess. He threatened to expose her and to kick her out of the house and cut her off. This continued until our engagement. I actually asked that man for his daughter's hand in marriage, and he acted thrilled. He even gave me an expensive bottle of whiskey to celebrate. Dave promised my wife that he would end the arrangement when we got married, and even give her a parting gift by transferring the house into her name and giving her a cash present. Safe to say that didn't happen. He decided that she was too good for me. On our wedding day, he demanded a guac 3,000 off her and told her to come over the following day, which is where she was. He told her, whilst he was doing bad things to her, that he wouldn't tolerate another man using her body and that I wasn't allowed inside her. After he was done with her, she left and cried all day and even thought about ending herself. When I heard that, I very nearly lost it. I'm not a small guy, 6'3" and well built, and I was ready to go around and rip this thing apart. My wife stopped me and continued her swimming, although some think she was using it as a cover. Was legit. She swims daily and it's her way of coping. The regular visit to her parents' house are for him. There was more, so much more. My heart hurts. Hell, my very soul hurts. I didn't sleep at all last night, and I have this burning anger and hatred deep down. I still love her, but my soul feels like it's been torn apart. As soon as she got it all out, I contacted the police, who came to the house and took her statement. All of the stuff she said to me and more that I either don't remember or she left out to spare me. She gave names, dates, showed phone records and written evidence from emails and a secure messenger that Dave insisted she used to chat with him. Everything. He and his wife, my wife's mother, were arrested immediately. I've arranged for her to go to therapy. The first session is this week. That's the update. It's horrible. It's a mess. I'm a mess. My wife is a mess. I'm going to be here for her. I'm going to try and set things right and do whatever I can. We're getting the freak out of this house as soon as we can. I'm looking for rentals at the moment. I have almost enough saved to put a down payment on a new house, but we'll cross that bridge when we're ready. Thanks for being here. Thanks for letting me rant. And thanks for your support. My girlfriend joined the adult film industry without me knowing, and claims it's not cheating. So like the title says, 24M25F. She joined, and the way I figured out is one of my friends texted me a picture of her in the video. I confronted her when she got home, and she says she thought I wouldn't care because it's strictly business and not for pleasure. Now I'm confused because to me, I feel like it's cheating, but she showed me one of her contracts she signs, and in it, it says that it's strictly for professional purposes, and that she isn't allowed to reach out after the contract is completed. I was gonna look online for the video, but I couldn't bring myself to look at her with another man. I don't know what to do because if it's her job, who am I to say no? But at the same time, I feel hurt because she didn't talk to me about it What should I do?
Today, I messed up by sleeping with my HR manager. This happened a few years ago, back when I was in college, and had recently been hired by a company and was enjoying my new position. Of some note to the story is that I was hired by the GM as the HR manager was on stress leave. Fast forward a few months, and I hit my end of probation, which meant I got a small raise to celebrate having a bit more spare cash. But really, who needed a reason at that age? Some friends from school, and I decided to go out for drinks. We ended up meeting some friendly women and getting to know them over a few drinks. One thing led to another, and I ended up going home with one. She was a lovely woman of 3 or 4 years older than me. We did the deed and said our goodbyes. Come Monday, I head into work, still feeling good about the weekend. About an hour in, my boss comes to tell me that the HR manager is back and wants to do meet and greets with everyone that was hired in her absence. I'm penned in for just after lunch. I head into HR a tad early, and lo and behold, my boss and another employee are chatting with the woman from the other night. We make eye contact and she looks shocked and asks me what I'm doing there. I explain that I work here and I'm here for my meet and greet, and ask what she is doing here. She says she is the HR manager, and my jaw drops a bit. My boss makes a joke about us staring at each other and leaves. We end up having a nice chat and getting to know each other a bit better. Neither of us bring up our past activities. Fast forward about 2 weeks, and I'm suddenly called in the office by HR. I'm promptly informed by her that there is a strict no romantic relationships amongst employees policy in place, and they had been informed that I had broken this rule. 5 minutes later, I'm being escorted from the building. It was a hard few months trying to balance finding work and going to school. I spent almost all of my savings on rent and ended up leaving town to move in with some family until I was back on my feet. It was not a fun time in my life. TLDR, unknowingly had relations with my HR manager and got fired. An edit for clarity. This happened about 14 years ago. I was young and didn't know any labor laws or rights. To top it off, I had just moved to Canada and didn't know anything about lawsuits.
My husband asked me to open our marriage, so I downloaded Tinder and showed him how many I matched with. I 40F really thought everything was great between us. 40M, we love each other. Or should I say I loved him more than anything. We have 2 beautiful children, a big home, and great jobs. We have great fun time and we have a lot in common. Last week he told me that he wanted to ask me something, but that I mustn't take it the wrong way. He wanted to open the marriage. I started crying. Did he not love me anymore? Is he not attracted to me? Is he cheating? Why not divorce me then? His answer was no, 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 and no. It's not about love or happiness because he has both. Just something new and exciting. I was distraught the whole day, and later that evening, I downloaded Tinder. I uploaded one of my least flattering pictures, wrote that I'm a mother of 2, 3F and 1M, and that I was in an open marriage. I showed my husband my profile. After 1 hour, I got over 100 matches. Next day, it was around 2,000. My husband got very angry and demanded I deleted the app. He said he got the point and to forget about it. Now he is back to normal, but I can't forget about it. My longtime boyfriend shared intimate pictures of me. My boyfriend and I have been together for over 10 years and have kids together. We have a pretty great relationship and still keep things pretty spicy. It's not uncommon for me to send him pictures of myself in lingerie, topless, etc. We're in a committed relationship, so I never worried about those pictures leaving his phone. Recently, I saw someone post on here saying she found out her husband was sharing pics of her in his group chat. The comments were filled with people saying it's a common thing for men to do. This made me curious, so I snooped, clicked the drop down on messages and saw 2 intimate pictures of me. His friend had sent 2 PG pics of his wife, and my boyfriend sent 2 of me that were definitely not PG. Although I was not stripped down, my top was see-through. He immediately apologized and seemed so embarrassed, but I can't help but feel so violated. His reasoning is that he was proud of my body and it was more of a sharing trophy wives moment. He then said something along the lines of, "Maybe the way you portray yourself on social media made me think those pictures wouldn't be a huge deal." That made me cry. I work out a lot, so I share a mirror selfie from time to time in a sports bra and shorts. Nothing Nero-F type of content. curious how someone else would feel.
My mom stole $20,000 from me while I was in a holding cell. The title is self-explanatory. I won a lawsuit earlier this year and I had money put away in a safe under my bed. I was detained for something and needed bail. I used my only phone call, FU, West Covina PD, to call her and ask her to grab the requested bail amount out of my safe, $3,500. When I get home to check my safe, there is 20 grand missing. I start asking her about it only for her to say she sent it to my dad for a surgery he needed, which my dad denied instantly. Lo and behold, she somehow was able to afford a basically new Chevy Traverse. After weeks of hassling her and asking, she finally caved yesterday and admitted on video that she indeed took the money. What can I do now that I have audio evidence of her admitting to it? Her moral reasoning to stealing 20 grand from me while I was locked up was that she's my mother and deserved it more than I did. What do I do?
Today I messed up when I read my wife's diary. Well, I messed up big time today because yes, I read my wife's diary and ran into some very troublesome topics. First thing to understand, she and I have been polyamorous for about 3 years, in which time she has had 3 partners and I have had 1, which ended poorly for me because I was accused of cheating. Why I read my wife's journal? Because usually she shares with me what is going on, and recently I feel something has been up. I have asked several times for her to share and try to clear some things up from me. She never does. So today I chose the wrong answer and invaded her privacy. And damn, do I wish that never happened. And here is why. Within the contents of this diary, I found out that her current other partner wants to have a baby with her. She wants and has thought of marriage with him. The worst of all, she wants a divorce and wants me to pay child support. Honestly, I love this woman and have had issues with our relationship before, but I move on and continue loving her. I'm hurt and wish I could go back in time. Oh, one other thing. I feel like I work hard and do a lot of things for our home. But another entry shows that I am not appreciated and I'm just seen as a lazy man who doesn't do anything. Depressed is to say the least. TLDR, read my wife's diary and found out she wants a divorce, wants a kid with another man and wants to be married to him as well. I messed up for real, but I feel like my marriage has been a mess already.
My sister F31 says IF25 can't be in her wedding if I bring my boyfriend M26 of 5 years. I met my boyfriend in college 7 years ago, and we started dating 5 years ago. He is super close and loving with my family. He was there at my niece's births, baptisms, Christmas, vacations, etc. We are extremely committed to each other for the long run, but don't want to get married until we are financially stable, and both our careers are where we want them to be. My sister has been with her fiancé for 2 years and engaged for 6 months. My sister is the type of girl who has dreamed of getting married. Since she was a little girl, it didn't matter who proposed, she just wanted to be married. I have never cared if I got married or not. As long as I have a good career and a happy relationship, I'm fine. In the beginning of her relationship, she tricked me into going on a double date with her fiancé and his brother. She had said it was dinner with her and a friend, and it was most definitely not. The brother kept making passes at me the whole time, and I told him I had a boyfriend and the whole situation made me uncomfortable. At their engagement party, my boyfriend noticed that. The brother wouldn't stop staring at me and we tried our best to avoid him. Every time I have seen this guy, he has been weird towards me. My sister wanted me, my twin, fraternal, and to brothers in her wedding. The wedding is supposed to be next month in the beginning of May. My sister just told me that I'm going to be walking down the aisle with her fiance's brother. I told her that he makes me uncomfortable, and I thought I would be walking with my own brother. Apparently this is something her fiancé is insisting and she wants to make him happy. Seems like a pretty weird thing to insist, and I know it's some scheme between the 2 brothers. My other siblings also thought it was weird and voiced their objections to our sister. She got upset and said this is her wedding and she'll do what she wants. I told my boyfriend this, and he was upset for me. He's confident enough in himself that he knows this guy would never be competition, but he knows how uncomfortable I am with this situation. The other day, we had family dinner at my mom's house. I took this as an opportunity to bring up the all situation with my mother round. My sister got extremely upset and started crying, saying I was trying to ruin her marriage. I was so confused, as was everyone else, and tried to explain that he makes me and my boyfriend extremely uncomfortable. She then said that I can't bring my boyfriend to her wedding anymore, and if I do, then I'm no longer a bridesmaid. She gave no reason as to why I can't bring him. And my siblings were just as upset, considering they like my boyfriend a lot better than my sister's fiancé. I thought I would give her a few days to calm down and rethink, but she has not changed her mind. My 19-year-old brother's girlfriend is still invited to the wedding. My boyfriend is an incredible guy and has been nothing but kind and generous to my sister. His feelings are hurt, but he still wants me to go to the wedding. I think my sister is being an unreasonable a-hole, and I will be pretty pissed off at the wedding if my life partner is not there with me. Being her bridesmaid is something I can live without. So should I bring my boyfriend or go without him? Or should I demand that my boyfriend be allowed to come to her wedding and that she's being super unfair? I love my sister, but I don't understand why she's forcing some silly request by her creepy brother-in-law. I don't know what to do, and my family is no help either. TLDR, my sister is making me walk down the aisle with her fiance's creepy brother who makes me extremely uncomfortable. When I objected, she said I can't bring my boyfriend of 5 years to the wedding. And if I do, I am no longer a bridesmaid. Part 2 of my F25 sister F31 doesn't want my BF M26 at her wedding because her brother-in-law M29 is infatuated with me and I punched her in the face. Don't know what to do now. Update. I posted a few days ago about my sister F31 saying I F25 can't be in her wedding if I bring my boyfriend M26 of 5 years. The situation has escalated very quickly. Most of the comments said I shouldn't go to the wedding at all, but she is my sister and I don't want to miss her wedding. I went to my parents' house with my brothers and told them about everything the brother-in-law has done that makes me super uncomfortable and how my sister is disrespecting my relationship. My dad was pretty pissed off about the date stunt that she pulled and is on my side. My mom, however, says that I need to try and resolve this with her because if I am not part of the wedding party, people will talk. I honestly couldn't give a damn about what extended family has to say. My mom called a family meeting and told my sister and my twin to come to the house. My dad asked her why I was no longer walking with my brother, to which she responded saying that it's what her fiancé wants and she just wants to make him happy. I pressed the issue asking why is this such a big deal for me to walk with him and that he's super weird and I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to assault me. That really pissed her off. She started crying and yelling saying a bunch of BS. How this is all she's ever wanted and we're trying to ruin her special day. Blah blah blah. I was tired of the arguing and just straight up said, I'll go to the wedding as a guest then I'm leaving before the reception. My twin and younger brother took my side and said they don't want to be in the wedding party if I'm not. This made my sister lose her freaking mind. She was screaming now, calling me a bunch of names that I can't say on this sub. A batch count, whole and also calling my boyfriend names. I decided to leave and let my parents calm her down. But before I could walk out, she ran at me and yanked my hair, still screaming. She wouldn't let go. So I yanked hers too and she let go. She has extensions and apparently I messed them up and ripped some hair out. She tried to grab me again, so I punched her in the face. I didn't mean to hit her, it was just my instant reaction to someone coming at me. So now she has a black eye, a cut on her cheek, and missing some hair. She's absolutely livid because her bachelorette party is next week. My mom is mad at me. My dad is not. My sister is now saying that she's going to press charges against me. Can she actually do that or is she just trying to scare me? She's also pissed off because my other siblings won't be in the wedding. She told my mom if I apologize to her and agree to be in the wedding, she'll let me walk with my brother. I feel like that is BS, and she will still make me walk with the brother-in-law last minute. At this point, I feel like it's not worth the trouble and I just don't want to go at all. My mom and dad want me to do what she asked because they're paying for the wedding and want all their kids there. My twin and younger brother said they'll do whatever I want to do, but I don't think I should be the reason they don't go. My boyfriend feels like he started all this drama when none of it is his fault. My sister believes I ruined her wedding. She ruined it herself and I don't know what to do. So options are go to the wedding as a guest, be in the wedding, or not go at all. My parents will be upset if I don't go, and I really don't want any more tension. But she disrespected me and my relationship. As soon as this wedding is over, I am going to limit my contact with her for a while. TLDR, my sister doesn't want my long-term boyfriend at her wedding because her future brother-in-law is infatuated with me. I told her I would not walk down the aisle with him and just be a guest. She lost her mind, became super angry, and attacked me. In response, I punched her in the face. 2 of my siblings don't want to go anymore either. Now she's saying I ruined her wedding and she'll let me walk with my brother. But I don't believe her. I don't know whether to go or not because I don't want any more family drama. At the end of the day, she's my sister and I love her. Part 3 of my F25 sister F31 doesn't want my BF M26 at her wedding because her brother-in-law M29 is infatuated with me and I punched her in the face. Don't know what to do now. The first part of this is written before the wedding, and the second part will be after the wedding. First off, I want to say I didn't know this post had blown up like it did until a few days ago. When I first posted, it only had about 30 comments and now I've seen thousands and received lots of messages. I've also received some messages and read some comments about how I'm not responding to people or answering questions. I don't think I am required to answer anyone. I've heard tons of crazy theories. While these are all interesting, this is unfortunately my real life and not a movie. I will try and clear up any questions in this post. Some people asked if race is an issue and it's not. My family is French and Puerto Rican. My boyfriend is Italian and my sister's fiance is just white, what his ethnicity is. There was also some confusion about my siblings. I am one of 5 kids. My twin is a girl. I guess that got misunderstood when I said to girls to guys, I meant that. Besides my sister getting married, there was 4 of us walking down the aisle. I kept saying twin instead of sister so she wouldn't get confused with the one getting married. My sister is second oldest. Also, don't think money is an issue either. My family's not rich, just middle class. The reason her wedding is getting paid for and not mine is because she didn't go to college and I did. They paid for majority of my tuition, and I don't want a big fancy wedding either. Some people also asked why they don't revoke their money from her for this behavior. But the wedding has already been paid for a while, so there's no getting their money back. My sister did have a black eye still at her bachelorette party, and changed the venue to a darker place, and she wore lots of makeup. My twin brothers and me and BF went to the club that night instead and had a fabulous time and got trashed. I heard from her friend that she was telling everyone she got hit with a car door and not my fist. My sister has always been a bit unhinged. When she was in high school, her and my twin used to fight all the time. Every breakup my sister has ever had, she has broke down and shut down completely and felt her life is over. I've seen this since she was 12. I used to get in lots of arguments with my parents over them excusing her behavior, which ultimately made me decide to go to college across the country. During college, I rarely talked to her. When I came back home, she had matured and our relationship has been good for a while. She still occasionally has huge meltdowns over small things like this wedding. I sent my future brother-in-law a text asking why him and his brother are so obsessed with me, to which he didn't respond to. Me and my dad went down to his place, and he said my sister was the one who kept telling him that I was interested and would leave my boyfriend. So I don't even know which one of them came up with this plan. My dad got mad and told him to leave me and my boyfriend the freak alone. So I have told my sister to go to therapy for years, and she refused. I tried to have my mom see if she can get her to go to family therapy with me, and she also refused, but said she would talk with me and my mom. When her and her fiancé first started dating, she brought him to a work New Year's party and he brought his brother, and I also attended. This was her first boyfriend that had shown any interest in getting married one day. I guess the brother had said he found me very attractive, and my sister instantly jumped the gun on that. She told him that I was not in a serious relationship. I had been with my boyfriend for 3 years, and he had a strong chance with me and he's just my type. Wrong. So he's been under the impression that my boyfriend is just a placeholder, which is extremely not the case. He's just as delusional as my sister. This made no sense to me why she did this because my twin is single. We are fraternal, so we don't look the same. And we're different heights with very different personalities, but she's still a very pretty girl and single. My sister has expressed some jealousy of my relationship over the years, so that could be a factor in her trying to break us up. She's always made comments about how she'll never have what I have with my boyfriend. About a month ago, right before her ultimatum, she found out she's pregnant. I didn't know. She thinks if she doesn't make this brother thing happen, then her fiancé will leave her. And being a single mom is more frightening for her than her family hating her. It's still early enough that she does have other options, but she's committed to this for some reason. This was an intense conversation and also talked about other things, so this was all I could get out of her before my patience ran out. I did kinda snap on her and said some things along the lines of, "Sorry you're so pathetic that you date any guy who looks at you, and you still can't find a good relationship, and you will be divorced before labor." Yes, it was a little mean, but I was very heated in the moment and wanted to say something worse. My boyfriend is very adamant about us going to the wedding, despite all the BS my sister is putting him through. My boyfriend doesn't have close relationships with his siblings and has always loved being a part of this family. He wants me to maintain a relationship with mine, so I don't regret it later. He's still hurt though that my sister has been going through these great lengths to get him out of the picture. I've tried to reassure him the best I can that everyone still loves him, and I always will. We're going for the ceremony as guests, and then leaving as soon as they say I do. My two brothers and twin sister are walking together as a trio. We took wedding pictures together at a park, so our parents could have something of all of us, and we looked good. They haven't decided yet if they're staying for the whole wedding, but they're gonna feel it out. My older brother is staying the whole time so he can watch the brother and have some words with him. A lot of people said to have my boyfriend propose at her wedding, but I don't care enough to deliberately try and ruin her wedding. That will not make the situation better in the slightest. And I honestly don't ever want a public proposal, and I think that's super tacky. Me and my boyfriend have just been enjoying us and not worrying about any of this BS. I'm not worried about my sister attacking me again, and if she does, I can easily defeat her. She can't fight, which is why I don't know why she's messing around in the first place. Also, some people said, isn't it Alabama if sisters date brothers? But it is not at all. And I have cousins who are married to sisters. Not excusing the behavior, just saying that's not Alabama at all. Part 4 of my F25 sister F31 doesn't want my BF M26 at her wedding because her brother-in-law M29 is infatuated with me and I punched her in the face. Don't know what to do now. So, the wedding happened. I showed up in my bridesmaid dress because I wasn't gonna go, and buy another one, and it's a very nice dress. Me and my boyfriend tried to go in as late as we could to limit the amount of family, asking me why I'm not in the wedding. A few aunts and uncles asked, and I just said my sister lost her mind and to ask her. I tried to stay with some cousins who I told what happened, and know how my sister is an occasional nut. The ones who knew that my boyfriend's invite was revoked were pissed considering some of their plus ones were just dates. We sat in the front row where my sister, her husband, and the brother could see me with my very serious, handsome, amazing, loving boyfriend. He held my hand the whole time and made sure I was okay. This wedding just confirmed me not wanting a big wedding. We can have a party at most. It was only once that the brother was staring at me and I quickly shut that down by kissing my boyfriend. As soon as they all walked back down the aisle, I said my goodbyes to the people that deserved it and we left. We went to a bar and danced and had a good time. I'm glad I went to the wedding so I can say I told you so. When this marriage ends in 6 months, I'm glad that delusional sob saw me kissing the man I love because that will never be him. My twin had quite a few drinks at the wedding and was being very mouthy with my sister. I didn't ask her to say something, but she would have done that with or without booze. My younger brother told almost every family member that my sister went crazy on me, and that's why I wasn't at the reception. My older brother did talk to the brother-in-law, but I don't know what he said. I didn't ask many other questions, and this is just what they told me. I feel really bad for my sister, honestly. She baby-trapped herself with a subpar bottom feeder. That man has 0 qualities. That would make me jump through all these hoops. He has the personality of an Adidas sandal. I wish my sister had more self-respect and raised her standards. I don't know much about their relationship and if he's abusive. I would like to think that she at least has that much respect for herself to not put up with that. Maybe they're in love. Maybe he's using her. Who knows? This marriage may not last, but she's now attached to him for at least the next 18 years. Well, I sort of get her reasoning. For not wanting to be a single mom, my brother is a single dad and doing just fine. I don't plan on talking to her for quite a while. I don't know how things turned out for them for not getting me with the brother. After prying, they still wouldn't give me clear answers. So I don't know how serious the husband actually is about his loser brother getting laid. Those brothers were either neglected or breastfed till they were teens. I was already going on vacation this summer with my boyfriend, but I might extend it now. Who knows, may even get married in France for shits and giggles. Anyway, thanks for all the support. Sorry that this ending wasn't as dramatic as you all wanted it to be. I'm not expecting an apology. I honestly don't care anymore and just want to move on with my life and be happy and not deal with any more psycho behavior. I'm just glad that I haven't received any messages from brother-in-law or my mom and that I have a great man. If there's any questions I missed, feel free to let me know. A lot of your comments made me and my BF laugh. TLDR, I went to the wedding with my boyfriend as guests. My sister's husband says she's the one who's been feeding him these lies, that I'm interested in his brother. My sister found out she's pregnant before her meltdown, which is the reason for her wanting to pair me with her creep brother-in-law, because she's scared of husband leaving her. She's more afraid of being a single mom than her family hating her. I am now not gonna talk to her for quite a while and just enjoy my life with my boyfriend.
My ex is suing me for child support. My ex-girlfriend 26F broke up with me 25 and 2 years ago because we couldn't decide about having kids. I told her from the moment she mentioned having kids, I don't want any until I am at least 28. She was okay with that at first, but 2 years in she wants kids. Like, really wants kids. I told her I was not having fun time without a rubber period. And after a month of no fun time because she wanted it raw, she broke up with me. Not surprised, and I moved 2 hours away from my new work 2 months after we broke up. Since then, I haven't contacted her until a week ago, when I got served the papers. She is saying her kid 1 year old is mine. I don't know what she is high on, but it's impossible that I am the father. The kid was conceived a month after I left. Mini update. This is a small and quick update. I don't use social media, so I don't have access to any of the kids' photos if they are public. But my mom does have her on Facebook. I asked her to look for the kid. Nothing on Facebook, but she found her Instagram, and it has some photos of the kid's first birthday. And the kid doesn't look anything like me or her. I will answer some questions. Yes, I will fight this BS. I have seen this kind of stuff go bad, so I will get a lawyer, and if I can counter-sue for damages. She is not vile enough to use my offspring of a used rubber to get herself pregnant. Well, the woman I knew. As for STDs, I got tested just before my current relationship, and it was clean. Between the last time we had fun time and the time the kid was conceived is about 4 months. 1 month of no fun time, 2 months I was in the area, and 1 month I was in my new place.
My boyfriend came home early and caught me off guard. Not to catch me cheating or anything, I don't think. He forgot his rent check, but when he walked in, he saw me finishing off a 2-liter of soda straight from the bottle. And with Queso drip down my shirt, strong goblin energy, presentable in a way he's never seen me before. The male's voice he heard on the other side of the door was of a YouTube video from Tube called TikTokers that became horrible criminals. This is a fairly new relationship, and I'm staying at his place all the time. This is the first time he came home early by surprise. He left for work, then was back within a half hour after remembering the rent check. I just always see posts about a significant other coming home early and finding something heartbreaking and wanted to share this wholesome feeling I feel. This is my first healthy relationship, and my post history goes over how dark the first part of my life was. I'm so happy he came home to me being a goblin, not a heartbreaker. I'm just so happy and wanted to share.
My wife of 7 years has been cheating on me with my brother. As I'm writing this, I left my home. My kids and dog are with my wife right now. I will be back with divorce papers soon. My wife and I are both 34 and have been married for 7 years. We have 2 kids who are both girls. I was taking my kids on a hiking trip. When my daughter badly hurt her leg, I rushed her home to get the first aid kit and medical supplies in the storage room, and all I hear is my wife yelling. I opened the door to our bedroom and see her with my brother. My whole world came crashing down. I've loved this woman my entire life. I don't know anyone else that I care for that much, besides my parents. My brother just ran to the bathroom and my wife just stayed in the bed and looked at me. I had no words for her. I just tended to my daughter, and after 30 minutes, I left home. My kids aren't aware and they are only 5 to 6 years old. My wife gave me a call after I left and said that she was sorry, and that she was drunk and didn't know my brother was going to force himself on her. I'm just severely heartbroken. I loved my wife so much, but things like this make me think the world is just a horrible place. I'm planning on getting custody of my children and cutting both my brother and wife off. The kids will see her time to time. However, when it comes to me, it's over between us. Thanks for letting me vent. Update of: my wife of 7 years has been cheating on me with my brother. I've gotten in contact with a lawyer and am getting the documents ready. My wife left our house when I came back and I haven't touched any of her things yet. Before this divorce is finalized, I really am striving towards getting full custody of my children. I do not feel any remorse for my soon-to-be ex-wife. This has really taken a toll on my work life. However, I have taken time off for the next 2 weeks. I'm hearing back from my lawyers on the divorce papers. I appreciate each and every one words of support and am grateful to have been able to find peace. Thank you all. I've told her parents and my mom is heartbroken, but it's something she has to be aware of. My brother called with the same drunk excuse. Even though there was no alcohol, she left several voicemails saying, "I shouldn't have cheated. I'm sorry. Is there anything I can do to fix this?" I gave them all to my lawyer already. Update: my oldest daughter isn't mine. My paternity tests confirmed it. I got them off of a place my lawyer recommended. I've been with her my whole life. There is no absolute reason why she isn't my daughter. I just hope that I'm granted custody of her.
My brother-in-law called me the one who got away in his speech. And my husband is very hurt, and it is all my fault. I don't know what to do. I think I have done serious damage to my marriage before it even began. I met my husband through his brother, Chris, who I had a crush on in college. I never was clingy or never acted on my feelings, and I never really allowed myself to get too close to him because I knew that my feelings weren't reciprocated. Chris knew, however, I had a crush on him, or at least he felt it. He would always say that I was GF material and how he wouldn't want to lead me on. He wanted to have fun before that. He would say this to others, but even once to me. On 2 occasions he would text me that he had feelings for me, only to apologize later and retract his words. But on Christmas 4 years ago, he texted me that he was in love with me and wanted to take me out on a date. He said he was done playing around and wanted a relationship. He was invited to an NYE party that my then roommate and I had. He told me he wanted to talk to me then. When he came to the party, he had his brother with him. Chris spent the party going out of his way to ignore me, and later I saw him making out with my roommate and they spent the night in her room. I decided there and then that I will drop it. Enough is enough. Next morning he told me that he messed up. I messed up big time, yeah, and he apologized. During the party I got to know his brother, who was the opposite of Chris. He was shy and hated attention, and he was just the best. And soon after he asked me on a date. We are married now. Our wedding was last Wednesday. I want to make 2 things clear. I never went beyond a crush on Chris, and only after I fell for my husband that I understood what love is. He is everything to me and I love him more than anything. I never told anyone about my crush, and when I met my husband, I didn't tell him either. Chris wasn't happy I was seeing his brother, and he's been cold towards me since. Even when it got serious between my husband and I. Chris held a speech on our rehearsal dinner, and he basically outed everything and ended with how he regretted not asking me out sooner, and how he will always regret it. It was very awkward afterwards, and nobody talked, and on our wedding day my husband did everything to act normal, and he made sure everything was as planned, but I could feel that he was hurt and angry. After the party he asked me if I loved Chris, and if I dated him for that reason. I started crying because it's absolutely not true. We started dating and became friends, and I made sure it was him I wanted before committing, and I never loved anyone like I love my husband. I told him all this and more, and I apologized so much for not telling him everything. In the beginning, I thought it was my own private matter and I didn't feel the need to discuss it with a then stranger to me. When our relationship evolved, I just never thought Chris was relevant, and my crush seemed a silly thing. Now it's back to bite me in the back. My husband is very sad and he barely talks to me. We're leaving for our honeymoon in 2 weeks. He barely speaks about it, the thing we both waited for with so much anticipation and longing. I don't know what to do. I can't turn back time, so I don't know what to do. Part 2, update. My brother-in-law called me the one who got away in his speech, and my husband is very hurt, and it is all my fault. Hi again. I have a small update. I was supposed to write it yesterday, but I was exhausted. Yesterday, my husband and I were invited to my in-laws for a cookout. When we arrived, Chris saw us and tried to escape. Well, nobody expected us to show up and my husband wanted to decline, but I insisted we go. I caught Chris, however, and loudly said, "Oh, I'm happy you are here, because I want to talk to you." I said that since the people in this cookout were all in the rehearsal dinner, I wanted them to listen to. Chris looked like he was about to cry, but my father-in-law was grabbing his arm when he tried to excuse himself. I told Chris that what he did was a pathetic thing. That didn't just hurt me, but it hurt his brother even more, and that the only reason I didn't speak up was because I was in shock. But also I didn't want to ruin our day by arguing back and forth with an arrogant and selfish man who always hid behind alcohol to explain his bad behaviors like he's some tween. I told him that I never was the one that got away, because he never had me. I never knew the real him, and I liked his exterior like I was sure many people who didn't know him well did. But if it ever would have evolved to something more, I would have seen through his facade, and since I know myself very well, I would never have fallen for someone like him, so I was never the one that got away. I told him that the only good thing about him in my eyes, the only redeeming quality, is that he decided to bring his brother with him that night. And even if I was very angry with him now, I will always be thankful to him, and I will always be grateful that I crossed paths with him, because it led me to my husband. And for you not to even call to apologize to your brother for embarrassing him and hurting his feelings says a lot about how much you have planned to hurt him on his day. My husband was silent the whole time. The mood was a bit awkward for a minute after my outburst, but then people were normal, and some apologized for what happened, and we ended up having a good time. When we got home, my husband, who's been sleeping in the living room almost every night, hugged me and kissed me. The first time he kissed me since the I do. I felt my anger building up again, and I had another outburst. I told him that we weren't okay, and that he never has the right to shut me out and give me the silent treatment for so long ever again if he wanted to stay married to me. He said I know, and that he regretted his coldness. We made love for the first time as a married couple, and second, third, and fourth, and then I fell asleep in his arms in our bed. After 2 outbursts onto brothers in one day, I felt content and I slept very well. This morning my husband woke me up with kisses and hugs, and he apologized for hurting me and taking out his anger on me. He said the shock was too great for him, and he was afraid that I didn't love him and just settled for him because Chris is the charmer and always had it easy to be loved by people. He thought something more happened, and he didn't dare to ask me because he wasn't mentally prepared to hear that the love of his life maybe wasn't his. He looked his old cheerful self that I missed so much. I just wanted to cry, but I didn't. We discussed therapy, and we are planning to start looking for a therapist after our honeymoon, but for now, I just want to snuggle him and feel his love. He has a lot of making up to me to do. I hope this counts as an update. Edit. Many asked about Chris's reaction. He just cried and mumbled that he had somewhere to go and left. No apology or anything. Wasn't expecting that either. Mother-in-law was angry with me, but I was just so angry. Everything just came out.
Am I the a-hole for laughing at my brother's tattoo? This is a pretty cut and dry scenario. My 32M little brother 25M has been in a string of relationships since he was young enough to know what dating was. On several occasions, the relationships ended because he was caught cheating with another girl. These are just the ones that I know about. There could be more. In fact, his current GF19F was the other woman from his previous relationship. I'll call him Danny. He still lives with my parents, and I headed over on the 4th for barbecue. When he reached out for a hug, I noticed his arm was super red, and he showed me his brand new tattoo that he had literally just gotten. In huge words, it said loyalty in cursive. Where I might be the a-hole is that I kinda laughed as soon as I saw it and didn't try to hide it at all. It wasn't a dramatic laugh. He said, "What's so funny?" And I just said his tattoo was really ironic. He got pissed and stormed off to his room and didn't join my parents and I, plus our sister, for dinner. I told them what happened, and they said I was being an a-hole, and my sister said people are allowed to change. I personally think he's acting like a child by locking himself in his room, and that I shouldn't be blamed for a 25-year-old storming off. Lol.
Would I be the a-hole for canceling my daughter's 16th birthday party after warning her about it a year ago? For my daughter's 15th birthday, my spouse and I paid for her to take some of her friends out to a restaurant for dinner. During this dinner party, my daughter got into an argument with one of her friends 15F. Apparently, my daughter was upset that this friend gave her a cheap gift bought from a thrift store. According to her best friend 15F, who told us what happened, my daughter seemed to like the gift at first and asked her friend where she bought it from. When the girl admitted it was from a thrift store, that is when my daughter lost it and called her names like cheap, gold digger, beggar. Translated from my language, English is my third language. It roughly means cheap and other classist insults. Now, it is well known that this friend's family is not well off, but I know that she is a sweet girl who did her best to get my daughter a gift with her meager allowance. My spouse and I confronted our daughter about it, and she admitted she insulted her friend. She went on to insult her further by saying things like, "This is probably the only way she gets to eat at a restaurant, so she should be grateful and give a decent gift." I don't know where my daughter learned such entitlement, but she did not learn it at home. Even her best friend was uncomfortable by her behavior. We immediately took away all her gifts and donated them. We also told her that unless she apologizes to this girl in front of everyone who was present at the party, we will not be sponsoring any more of her birthdays. My daughter never apologized, and over time, the girl drifted apart from the friend group. My daughter's 16th birthday is coming up next month, and she has started talking about what kind of party she wants. I reminded her of our promise that we would not fund any more birthday parties until she has apologized for her behavior at her previous party. Daughter is saying it's been a year, and the girl is no longer her friend anyway. She said her best friend is getting a sweet 16 party. Not a thing in my culture, and how will it look if she doesn't get one? We told her she still has a month to apologize, but she is not planning to do it because she thinks we'll cave. My in-laws are offering to pay for her party, but we have forbidden them from doing that. Daughter and both sets of grandparents are telling us that we are being too harsh and ruining her social life. Would I be the a-hole if we don't give her a birthday party this year? Am I the a-hole for not giving my son money to buy his own ticket? I took my 3 kids to the movies with my husband. When we arrived, my oldest, 15, said he wanted to watch a different movie than the rest of the family. I said that was fine, and we would meet him at the ice cream place across the street. His choice would start and end later. We started to split up, and then he said I forgot to give him money for a ticket. I asked why I would give him money for a ticket. He said he needs the money to buy his ticket. I said he could use his own money. He said that wasn't fair because I was going to buy a ticket for him before. I said I was going to buy tickets for the whole family. For a family outing, if he's doing his own thing, he needs to pay for it. He said he didn't want to pay and would just watch the same movie as the rest of us. He was grumpy afterwards, and my husband said I was petty. I don't think it's petty. I think it's a life lesson. Am I the a-hole for making my sister-in-law pay above average rent for 1 bedroom? I am 100% being petty here, but curious if I'm actually wrong. Most of my husband's family think I am being childish and need to let the past go, as my sister-in-law can't afford this. But her behavior toward us in the past makes me feel this is warranted. 2 years ago, my house burned to the ground after being struck by lightning. Thankfully, it was during the day, so our 3 kids were at school and my husband and I were at work. We lost everything, but we were safe. It took almost 11 months for the insurance to pay out. The insurance covered 1 month worth of hotel stays, but after that, we were made to fend for ourselves, and the only option we had was to move in with my sister-in-law. She tells us we can have her spare room and her office space, since she used neither of the rooms. And her stipulations was we needed to purchase all of our own food and pay her $100 a week. By week 3, all of that changed. She then decides we need to pay her $250 a week, and we can only use 1 room. So all 5 of us were crammed into the smallest room she had, which was the size of a glorified closet space and didn't even fit a twin bed and a small dresser. So we lived out of trash bags and slept on the floor for close to $1,000 a month on some months, and still had to purchase all of our own food. despite her claiming my children on her food stamps. She also had no bills outside of her land tax for $150 a year, electric and heating oil which she hardly ever filled. So we were essentially paying her so she could do leisure activities. It was the worst 8 months of my life. 3 months ago, my grandmother decided that she wanted to go to assisted living after a fall and transferred the deed of her house to me and basically said it was mine now. It is a 5-bedroom farmhouse. My boys insist on sharing a room, so we have 2 extra bedrooms. Well, my sister-in-law lost her house last month due to not paying her land tax for several years and asked if she and her stepdaughter could stay with us until they get enough money to move down south. I said sure. 1 bedroom, $800 a month, and you have to buy and cook all your food separately because my daughter is vegan. She looked at me like I had 10 heads and said that she and her stepdaughter should not be made to share a room when there are 2 extra rooms, and stated she cannot afford a rent of $800 while purchasing all of her own food on top of it. I said neither could we, but we managed to cram 5 people into a glorified closet space while you were getting $1,000 and food stamps. Take it or leave it. She decided to leave again. I'm being told I am childish. Am I the a-hole?
My 22M girlfriend 22F cheated on me with my sister 24F. I am writing this while shaking and with tears in my eyes. My girlfriend of 3 years who I thought was the love of my life is cheating on me with my sister. I always had my suspicions that my sister likes girls, but I was never sure. However, if we were going out and she knew my girlfriend will be there, she'd change her whole outfit and put on more makeup, but I didn't really think much of it. My girlfriend, however, she always told me that she's straight and she doesn't see no one else but me. She always told me that I'm the love of her life, and I really thought this girl was my soulmate. Yesterday I was at my girlfriend's house and her mother called her, so she left me alone in her room for a bit and she kept her laptop open. I saw an Instagram page and she got a notification from my sister, so I got a little curious. When I checked the message I almost threw up. It was a very dirty message, so I started shaking and continued reading the chat, and there she is. The love of my life. And my sister sending each other steamy clips about what they want to do to each other. They also had explicit pictures and videos of each other. And I saw humiliating and heartbreaking jokes about me. When my girlfriend came back to the room, I left the messages tab between her and my sister open to let her know I know what she did. She got crazy and started yelling at me, calling me a creep for reading her messages. I get that it's wrong to read her messages, but this was my sister. I really can't believe that any of them did this to me. I was always so close with my sister and my relationship with my girlfriend was perfect. I am devastated and I don't know what to do. I don't want to lose any of them, but this is too heartbreaking and I can never forgive them. I am so lost. Edit. My sister has been trying to call me and send me messages like this is all a big misunderstanding, when I literally saw a video of her going down on my now ex-girlfriend. I don't have it in me to confront her. I really don't know what to say, so I will just block her and never speak to her again. 3 days after first post. Here's the update. So after she sent hundreds of messages and so many calls, I blocked my sister. She has been trying to contact me, and after what she did, she is dead to me. No one understands the amount of pain she put me through. She didn't sound sorry when she was making disgusting jokes about me while enjoying my girlfriend. Yesterday, she came to my place and she was hysterical. She was crying, knocking at my door, begging me to talk to her. I mean, she was literally on her knees crying and begging. She admitted that what she did was wrong, obviously, and she said she will cut my ex-girlfriend off and never speak to her again. I mean, to be honest, she did look sorry and looked like she regrets what she did, and she didn't want to lose me as a brother. I told her to go home and leave me alone for at least a week, and then I'll talk to her when I make up my mind. I was convinced that my ex was the love of my life. I was so in love with her and my heart is broken, but what crushed me that it was my sister. I couldn't and still can't believe that she would do that to me. Me and my sister, we come from a very abusive family physically and mentally. We are the only siblings and we always went to each other's rooms when things got rough in the house. My dad beating my mother and breaking things. So it made us very close and I still can't get over. How could she do this to me? I don't think I will ever be over it. She doesn't want to lose me and deep down I am terrified of losing my sister. But what she did broke me in ways I can never explain. And to everyone asking, no, I didn't take screenshots or anything of what I saw on my ex-girlfriend's computer. I was so shocked and I was panicking so hard. I couldn't think of taking a proof of what I saw, but I don't think I need to do that. My sister knows she can't turn things on me, and we don't talk much to dad, and my ex-girlfriend is out of the picture forever. And we don't really have many mutual friends because I don't really have a lot of friends. I need to say that I really appreciate the support on the last post. As I said, I don't really have a lot of friends, none that I can talk to about this. Closest people to me were my sister and my ex, and now I am going through this all alone, so everything you guys said really means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Edit. I don't know guys. I have been drinking a lot and I am scared. Are you guys sure I should cut my sister off forever? I can forgive her. I know I will never forget, but she really does regret what she has done. But I guess I'm not thinking straight right now. You guys realize how big of a bond a brother and sister who went through an abusive household and were always there for each other, right? Is cutting her off forever really the only option I have? I know I sound desperate, but I'm alone and I'm scared. What are your thoughts?
Am I the a-hole for not wanting to play a game my girlfriend created? My GF has been working on a visual novel game as a side project for almost 2 years and recently finished it. She wanted me to play it, but I initially declined, since I'm not into visual novels or reading long stories. But after she begged, I gave it a try and played for a good 15 minutes. Now I can tell she put in a lot of effort in the writing and the art, and it was a good start, but I just got tired of reading and stopped. She asked what I thought and wanted me to eventually finish it and tell her what I thought about the choices and the endings, but I told her I had no plans to. She looked shocked and asked if it was boring. I told her no. It's just that I'm just not into this type of genre, and she knows I'm not into reading. That asked me to make an exception this time since she made it. I got upset because I think she is being childish and wants to blackmail me into doing something I don't want. After I made it clear I wasn't continuing, she hasn't talked to me. I already know that she is talented and smart, so just because I don't want to play it doesn't mean I don't support her. Some of my friends agree she's being immature, but others think I should be more supportive. So am I the a-hole?